Hey everybody, welcome back. One last startup video for a while until I get a few more engines done. But this is that F-head that's been in the stand for a while, and I finally got a quiet morning to just be alone and get this guy started and broken in properly. So I got the battery charge in here, timing lights out. I've got our startup fuel tank for fuel. I just put some water in the radiator, and when you put the water in the radiator, let it drip out your temperature sender hole. That way, you know, you're pushing all the air out of there, so I let that drip out. You can see a little bit on the floor. Alternator's on there. Distributor's pretty close, I think. I just set it by eye. We got the Pertronix in there. We got the Pertronix coil. Another one of my last new old stock exhaust manifolds. That's my last one. I put one on Gary's engine. I put one on this engine. And that's it for those. Can't get those anymore. At least through the source I was getting them. Rebuilt carburetor by Rick. I'm sure that's all dialed in perfectly. And some hoses, a record radiator, and new starter. Like I say, I'm using alternators and modern starters now. I'm having a little bit of tough time getting my stuff rebuilt good anymore. So most guys seem to want the alternator, and most guys want a modern starter. Okay, we got our gauges set up, and we're just about ready to go. I did early this morning get a new Venture 4500 transmission, and this one, the nut backed off and fifth gear slid back. Doesn't look like it's too bad in there. This is a local guy that I know, and he's a Cummins diesel fan, and this came out of his pickup truck, and he's getting the parts for this, the upgraded main shaft, new nut for the back, just the whole better stuff coming for this. I don't know why these had so much trouble with fifth gear, but it's an epidemic. But anybody's interested in seeing the 4500, I'll try and squeeze some time on that rebuild. I've got to clean some parts up and get to that one of these days when the parts come in. Kind of an emergency job, you know. This isn't a restoration or anything like that. This is the guy's actual truck, so his truck is down, and we're going to squeeze him in. So there she sits. Okay, back to this engine. I do have a very warm, humid day today. Doors are open. It's over 80 degrees in here right now, so there is going to be the fan on this engine. And I know some guys don't like to hear the fan noise when the motor's going, but I have to run a fan on this because it's just so damn hot now. So let me see if I get something set up and show you what's happening. Okay guys, let's see how she fires. Okay guys, fired right up. I took a second to set the timing, 5 degrees before top dead center. I'm going to run it again, and you'll notice when I run them, I bring the temperature, not the temperature, getting crazy. I bring the speed up to about 2500, then I come back down to about 1800, then back up to 24, 2500. I vary it. Some guys like to keep it at 2000 and leave it there. That's not the most efficient thing you can do. Varying the speed upon startup is the best, and but you know, you guys can do it like when you start your motors. But that's how I start them. get going, I am going to hand the camera over to Maria. She's helping me today, and we'll see if we can't get some footage of this guy running and getting it broken in properly. Okay guys, we're just going to power up the Pertronix positive side of the coil to the battery. That gives us power. I'm wearing some earplugs because it gets kind of loud. And let's see if we can fire it up. Okay guys, I got about 30 minutes of run time on this engine right now. Oil pressure steady at about 40 to 45. Water temperature dead perfect at 165. I got a 165 thermostat in here. I got a 13-pound radiator cap on there. And like I say, this is a freshly recored radiator. Don't try and run your new engines on faulty radiators or radiators that you think are good or anything like that. Get yourself a record radiator or a brand new radiator on a new engine. I've got water in here now. I'm going to drain the water. I just ran this engine until the fuel ran out of the carburetor. I thought this engine was going to sell, but it's not selling, so it's going to go into storage for a little bit, so I didn't want any fuel in the carburetor. I ran that dry. I'm going to drain the water, and I'm going to fill up with 15W40 Shell Rotella T engine oil. So, and then I'll break it down from the stand. You guys don't need to see that, but it ran perfect. It broke in properly. Perfect oil pressure and temperature, and this is going to be a fantastic engine for my next project. And I'll show you that in a little bit. We'll take a walk outside. I'll show you what I got that just came in a couple days ago. But that's another break-in of an engine. You can see, if you look to the floor, there's not a single oil drip. There's no leaks of any sort, coolant or oil. And this is going to be a fantastic engine. So hang in there. I'll get the water draining, I'll get things, the oil draining, and we'll move on. Okay guys, while the oil's draining, we're going to come look at the new treasure I got. This is Oops, let me get out of the way. This is a military CJ3B, guys. I'll show you more details on it, but you can see there's not much left to it. The rear section is gone. The frame is in pretty tough shape. The leaf springs are broken and shot. I think what we're going to have out of this particular rig is the engine, transmission, transfer case, front and rear end. I don't know if I'm going to be able to save the frame. Okay guys, this is a later CJ3B. You can see with the spin-on oil filter, with the vent coming out of the cap on the valve cover. It has its original data tag here, and the motor is free. And I was lucky enough, I met a pretty nice guy from Facebook Marketplace, and I'm not really on the Facebook, so I don't see it all the time, but I saw this on Facebook Marketplace, and I made a deal with the guy just before I went down to North Carolina, and he was nice enough to hold it for me, and he just delivered it to me yesterday, or the day before, I don't know, something like that. And he was smart enough to save the remnants of the body for me, so I would have the tailgate chain brackets and the bow pockets. I mean, you know, he was a real thinker. I like that, you know, because I got that half a 3B body that I've been trying to sell, and nobody wanted that, so I'm going to probably graft that onto what's good from this section. But the best thing is, come on around. Best thing is we still have the original military data plate. I have never been lucky enough to have a military 3B, but this one was military issue, and I got to do a little more research on it, but the tag is still there. The numbers match. This is all numbers matching, the military tag, the firewall tag. You know, everything is late CJ3B. You see it's got the 1 gauge that they switched to later instead of the 5 individual gauges. It was never drilled, or the emergency brake was never put on the dash. So it's a pretty unique vehicle. I really like it, and if I wanted to do a real quickie, I could take that engine that I just fired up, put that in here. I've got a rebuilt transmission transfer case. I could have a running drivetrain in just about no time. So I guess maybe it's okay that nobody's interested in buying any of my rebuilt engines. So we'll just keep moving on with this. I'm going to get this in a container so it's out of the weather, but I just wanted to show you, it's not every day you come across a military 3B. So I still got to source a few parts. The back wheels aren't right. So I need some rims and stuff. I got to see what I got in my collection. But this is a project for the back burner. But I just want to show it to you guys. Okay guys, just changing the filter here, just unscrewing that, put a rag under it just in case there's anything left in it. They usually drain back pretty good. I like to clean any oil that's on that housing out. The later setup with this filter, this is a, I use wicks for everything. A lot of guys like to stick with the Fram, but you could do the research on that. If you ever take a wicks and a Fram apart, you'll see why you'll go with wicks. That's a 51050 on the factory setup. There it is right there if you can see it. That's what I use for the spin-on filters. And oh, gasket fell out. This is the oil that we're going to be putting in there. And I put this in all my engines. Last engine I started up, I showed guys I put this in there. I got a lot of bad remarks. I got a lot of shit from a lot of guys. Oh, that's diesel oil, don't put it in an old Jeep motor, blah blah blah. Okay, so what I'm saying now is you guys can put whatever you like in there. You could put cat piss in your engine for all I care. This is what I use. This is what I've been using for many years. It is the best that I found out there of all the oils. It has high zinc in it. You don't have to put the ZDDP in there, but you can if you want to. This is good quality oil, and I've probably got hundreds of thousand miles on this oil from engines I've rebuilt for guys, and I think you'll be happy with it. But if you're one of those guys that wants to give me shit about it, I've got enough of it already, so don't even write the comment. Okay guys, we're just putting this engine to bed. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this engine, and all the guys that thought it was too expensive, I'd like you to see if you can go out and get one like this. Okay, this started out, this F-head came in, and it was standard bore. Crank was standard. I ground a crank 1010. Very rare to get a 1010 crank anymore, but I ground this one 1010. I bored it. I couldn't save it at 10, so this is a 20 over bore. Silvolite Pistons, Hastings rings, new old stock tappets. This is not reconditioned tappets, new old stock tappets. New old stock timing gears. Clevite bearings, main and rod bearings. A best gasket rear main seal. Fel Pro gasket kit. The motor was bored, it was honed. The block was decked, the head was decked, ARP fasteners, new old stock exhaust manifold, one of my last, custom made Pertronix wires, new distributor, Pertronix coil. I've got the high torque starter here. I've got an alternator bracket. The list goes on and on and on and on. Resurfaced flywheel, new ring gear, brand new clutch. It just goes on and on. Hard oil lines, fan belt, silicone hoses. It goes on and on. So, like I say, I'm going to keep this motor for myself. But if you think you could get somebody to grind a crank, bore an engine, deck an engine, do all that work, I'd like to hear about it. A lot of guys complained and saying, "Oh my God, that your motors are too expensive." So just take all that information that I just gave you, and you know, see if you think it's worth it or not. I know shops out there that just for long blocks are getting 7,000. So you guys do some homework and see what you think, and then put a comment after that. You know, I get plenty of comments beforehand, but you got all this information, give me a comment now. Okay guys, this motor is just about cool enough now. Fresh oil in there, carburetor's bagged up, I got rags and everything, so no critters get in anywhere. This is just about ready to come off the stand and go into storage. Next motors that are going to be done are Travis and Lou. I have everything for Travis, I believe. I put the tappets in both their motors yesterday. Cams are going in next, and then I'll flip and put the pistons in, get both of those guys finished up. Scott, I know you're waiting for your engine to get assembled. I still need to find some quiet time to get your 258 and that Americar motor board. They've been on the damn SIP machine now for a couple weeks. It's been crazy around here. I'm hoping to get to that soon on a quiet day where things aren't coming in and packages going out. It's a little crazy. So I've got a bunch of motors to get done, and I'm just going to put my head down and get them finished. You guys will see them on the test stand as they get started. And I hope you enjoy this kind of video because I got a lot more coming. So that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.